The previous video showed you how to make a wire really quickly. This video will go a little bit more in depth on making the wires in the Techforce Pro wiring diagram creator. So you saw when you hover over a wire or a terminal, screw terminal, it turns green. And when you click and drag out, you get the wire coming out. And when you hover over another wire, the angle shows where it should be coming in. That's kind of your trigger that you can drop the wire there, and it also turns green. So I'm going to click and drag this one over here and drop it, and you can see now we have a wire in place. When you drop a wire in place, it automatically gets selected. See, if I select, you see how this one has the letter A on one side and B on the other? That means it is the selected wire. If I click on this one, you can see it has A and B. Now, what do the A and B mean? I'll show you that in a second here. So first I'm going to move this wire around. A and B refer to the letters in the bottom here. So there's A plus minus, B plus minus, and mid plus minus. And what do these mean? The A is your distance the wire will come out of the A terminal before allowing a bend to occur. B is how far would B come out. So you see when I hover over the plus or minus, a little square comes out of the letter B. And when I hover over the letter A plus minus, a rectangular shape comes out of the letter A. Now, since this wire is just going down and over, there aren't any extra bends to happen. But if I move this wire, let's say I go like this, now you see this wire is forming more of an S shape. And now you see the letter B, when I hover over it, I can hit the plus to extend the B out. And now you can call this a stub. So the letter B has a stub that goes out so far, and it can never go shorter than that. No matter where this part moves, that stub coming out of letter B can't go further than that. And where this comes handy is if you have wires that are going to overlap. So here I'm moving these into a position where now you see the wire going into the power supply here is underneath the wire going to the keypad. So I'm going to lower the stub of the wire going to the keypad, and I'll raise the stub of the wire going to the power supply. And now it kind of makes more sense. The wire is going outside the other one. Now the other thing, and I'm going to jump into the colors here quick just so you can start differentiating them. As long as I have this wire selected, I'm going to change its color. Along the lower left, we have all our color options. These are the main colors you can choose, but notice when I hover over a color, you get a lot more options to choose from. So I'm just going to change this one to a red color, just so I'll talk about colors a little bit more, but right now just so I can differentiate these two. So you see the red wire now is sticking out a little bit further, but it's coming, its middle is a little bit lower than the middle for the gray wire, and that's where this mid comes in. So if I want to move it up, I can hit the minus, which moves the middle closer to the letter A. And that's really the basics of changing these wires around. So the letter A now has a stub here, and if I bump its stub out, you can see it moves the middle down a little bit. And you see when I move the middle back a little bit, it kind of doesn't let me go too far. The wire will keep going, but it's doubling back on itself because the stub for A is so long. If I want to, I can bump that back, move the middle out. So using the letters A, B, and the middle, I can really position these wires how I want them to be. And notice no matter where I move this part, it doesn't allow the wire to go any further than any closer to this gray wire. So once you get the hang of starting to wire these up, you'll see the advantages here of doing it this way. There are other programs like Visio where you can drag connections to other parts, and you can kind of drag wires around. The downside of dragging wires around is they don't stay when you move the parts around then. So what you can do is you can first drag your wires to where they need to be, and then just start manipulating the wires, moving the parts to make it look like how you want it to look. Now again, if a wire is just going down and over, there's not much you can do. It's when the wire starts to form this S shape is when you can move the middle where it cuts over. You can change the letter A and the letter B to make it move to however you need it to move. So here I'll drag another one out, and this one will just go down, over, And now you can see the grays are overlapping again. So I'll change this one to a green quick. And I'm just going to bump out the letter A to make it go outside of it. Now you see every wire has an outline, which makes it kind of separate from the wire underneath it. Alright, so that's kind of how you move wires around, and you have to play with it a little bit, but once you get the hang of it, it's very, very easy to manipulate. Now we also have the colors, so select your wire, and notice when I click in the background, I deselect everything, and I'm back to just having my menu and my Save Diagram button. When I select a wire, I can now remove the wire, so clicking remove deletes that wire. And I can also change the color, so the context changes based on what I click. Again, the colors, I can hover over them, select whatever color I want. There's also a label for the wire. If I don't want to show these labels, I can click in the background to select Menu, Settings, and I can click Wire Color Labels. And that hides the labels now, so we don't have to see those labels anymore. And there we go, we'll show them again.